There's so much information on YouTube nowadays that we think we have all the information we need in order to learn music production, learn the business, quit our job. I want to explain why it's still difficult to be able to quit your job and do music full time if you're just strictly learning on YouTube. Now, this assumption comes from purely lacking the knowledge of how difficult it actually really is to run your own business. And I say this because I've been in this position myself. I've made that assumption. I thought that I don't need anybody's help. I just need YouTube. All the information is free. Why would I hire a professional to help me get my business off the ground? At this point, I've built a six-figure online music production business, and I've built a multi-six-figure business teaching other producers how to quit their jobs and do music full-time. It took me a long time to realize that information is not the only variable you need in order to have a successful business. I want to show you how I came to realize that YouTube is not the only thing that I need in order to run a proper music production business. Just to tell you a little bit about my experience with it, I've been producing for over 12 years now, and I spent a decade, 10 years, trying to get my business off the ground. That means that I spent 10 years trying different things like sync licensing, selling beats, getting placements, all these different tactics to try to just get my first dollar. I struggled for a long time. When finally I had my back up against the wall, it came to a point where I was having a family, I was getting a house, and I had to make the decision. If I decide I want to do this music thing, I either have to get help now or I have to just forever admit that this is just a hobby. And so I did everything in my power to make this happen, and what I did was finally cave, and I hired a mentor, an expensive mentor, to show me how to get my business off the ground. And the funniest part is 5 months after I hired that mentor, I was able to quit my job that I was stuck at for years. 5 months. So obviously I felt really stupid because I spent 10 years being stubborn, thinking that I could do this myself, when all I had to do was, in the beginning, hire a mentor, and I could have been spending that last 10 years growing my business instead of just learning how to get it off the ground and make that first dollar. To this day, I still cannot get that back. If I would have hired that mentor 10 years ago, I would be way further today than I am right now, so that's a regret that I have to live with for the rest of my life, and I hope this video helps you understand that you don't have to do the same as I did. Just like most producers, the only thing that I worked on was getting my music production, my mixing, my mastering polished so that one day I knew that if I had good enough music, I had a good enough product, it would just sell itself. And that comes from a lack of understanding how business actually works. Imagine this. Imagine you painted the most beautiful picture anyone has ever seen, but you wanted to get it sold. And what you did was you put it in your front lawn and you said, for sale. The problem with that is it's in the wrong environment. The only people that are going to see it are your neighbors walking by, the dogs pooping in your lawn, and they're going to see that painting and they're going to be like, that's great, but that's not really what I'm here for. I'm here to walk my dog. I'm not here to buy a painting. So obviously putting that painting in your front yard, no matter how beautiful it is, it's just going to be a painting in your front yard. Now, if you took that same painting and you put it in an art museum or an art expo, guess what? Now it's surrounded by the environment of your ideal clients and people who are more likely to buy that painting. And that's the same thing with your music. If you make the greatest song ever, but it sits on your hard drive or it sits on your beat store that no one visits because there's no traffic, it doesn't matter. It's not going to sell regardless of how good it is. You have to have the skill set to be able to get that piece of art in front of other people's eyes to have that potential to get it sold. And that's an entirely different skill set on its own. That's learning about business, that's learning about marketing, promotion, and that's completely different. That's something that we all overlook as creatives because we're creative minded, not business minded. And so if you run your business like a music producer, it's not going to work well. You have to run your business like a business owner. And that took me a long time to realize, so I hope this video helps you shortcut your journey to becoming a full-time music producer. Now let's go over to the whiteboard and I'm going to explain more about why YouTube is not the only thing you need in order to create a successful business. The first thing I want you to understand here is you're probably like, this guy's a hypocrite, like he's teaching me on YouTube but saying I can't do this if all I had was YouTube. What I'm saying is I would love it if I could teach you everything you needed to know in order to create your business, but there's just a lot more that goes to it. So I'm going to explain to you 5 big things that having a mentor helped me with that I could not do alone. And the first thing is order of priority. We hear all the time that we need to build a brand, we need to build a following, we need to build this before we get sales. And that's a lot of things, right? We try to post on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. So our focus is split into so many different categories that we can't go 100% on anything. And the thing is, the order of priority the order in which you do things matters a lot. Like most of the time, people are trying to build a following before they make any sales. If I built a following big enough, I bet some of those people are loyal enough, they'll want to buy from me. That's not the way you should be doing things, because building a following is a massive slow burn. It takes a long time. Since you're only one person in the beginning, you should be focusing on the task that gives you the most leverage. The most leverage is getting money, because when you have money, you have more leverage to do other things, because you're disconnecting all your leverage from your own time. You can now buy other people's time. You can buy more people's time to do different tasks. But the first thing you need to do is make money, right? So we should be actually prioritizing sales over building a following, over building a brand, over all of it. So something that was really important that my mentor told me was the order of things that you prioritize. And that's not something you can really figure out alone, because every business is different. And so you need to figure out what's tailor-made for yours. So that's number one, the order of priority. The second thing that's really important that you need to be successful, that you can't get off of YouTube, is accountability. Having some sort of external accountability, whether it be a coach, whether it be a peer, it doesn't matter, because clearly if you could hold yourself accountable for doing the things that are necessary, you wouldn't need the external help and you would be where you need to be. So a lot of times it comes down to us already knowing what we need to do, right? This is you. You already know what you need to do. You need to contact artists. You need to make more music. You need to learn marketing. You need to learn sales. If you're the only one holding yourself accountable, we fall into daily habits. We go to work, we get off, we're tired, we don't want to do more things because we're tired from doing work all day just to make somebody else money, right? And that burns us out. So it's easy to fall into that cycle. You go to work, you go home, you eat, you sleep, you go to work, you go home, you sleep. And it's hard to hold yourself accountable to do the extra things that you need in order to grow this business. So a lot of times we already know what we need to do. It's just a matter of fact of actually doing it. And doing it long enough to where you're actually seeing results. Because a lot of things that we do in the beginning, of course, the first week, the first month, we're not going to see results. It's something that has to accumulate over time, because a lot of times our actions does not grow linearly. You don't do one thing and you see the result, do one more thing, you see the result, do one more thing, you see the result. What happens is at first, it's a very slow burn, it takes a long time, and then you see this exponential growth as everything compiles. But you can't reach this point of where you see exponential growth unless you're doing this without seeing results long enough to where you actually hit this point. But most people quit right here because they don't see immediate results. Having someone hold you accountable, making sure you're doing the same things day in, day out, the things you know you should be doing, and actually making sure you do it is a huge thing that you cannot get off of YouTube. The third thing that you can't get off YouTube is learning things that you don't know you don't know. I'm going to say that one more time. Things that you don't know, you don't know. So how do we solve a problem that we don't even realize exists? You can't. You don't know what to search. You don't know what to look for because you don't know it exists. But it's something that is big, that's getting in your way from being able to grow a business. Okay, so for this example, this little half circle, let's just pretend this is things that you know. Right? We know very little. Like, as much as we know, as educated as we all are, nobody has enough time in their life to learn everything. And so there's a very small amount of things that you know. So let's just say that's the things that you do know. Now let's say there's a bigger half of this are things that you don't know, right? These are things that you don't know. Let's say I know that I should learn marketing. I just don't know how to do it. I know that I should learn sales. I'm just not sure how to do it. So those are things that you realize that you don't know, right? And then this massive thing around all of this bigger portion is all these things that you don't know, that you don't even know. You don't even realize it exists. You don't realize that it's a problem. Now, somebody who is doing something in the position that you want to be is going to realize that you need to know this knowledge, at least some of it, in order to be successful. Right? So the fact that a mentor that is in the position you want to be in has done this before can point out this area. They can teach you the area in which you don't realize you don't even know. I know this is a hard concept to wrap your mind around because it's so out there, right? It's just things that we don't know, we don't know. I mean, it's crazy, but there's so much out there that we don't know that we don't even know. And so there's no way you can learn this kind of stuff because you don't know what to look up. If you knew what to look up, you would look it up and it would fall under this category and you would know how to look it up on YouTube. But there's a million things in business that we don't realize that we don't know if we've never owned a business. And so hiring somebody who has done this before is going to teach you this stuff. And this is the stuff that's going to take you the longest to learn because you don't know it exists. The fourth thing is underestimating skill sets and how much you have to learn within each of these skill sets. So we probably realize that we need to post our music, right? But how do you know the way that you're posting your music is effective? It doesn't mean that you either don't post your music and don't get results and post music and get results. It's not black or white. There's a level of quality to each skill set. It's not black or white. It's not yes or no. It's a level in which how well do you know how to do this skill? How well do you know how to make social media content? How well do you know how to market? How well do you know how to do sales? It's not the fact that you just learn sales and automatically you're just like, I'm good. I already know sales. No, it's like, are you a level 3 at sales when you could be a 15? Or are you a 15 when you could be an 80? You see, there's levels to it. And it's not just black or white. It's a matter of how well you know how to do each one of these things. And a lot of these skill sets, people spend time, years learning how to do. There's agencies that teach you how to sell. There's companies that teach you how to sell better. I've spent tens of thousands of dollars to learn how to do sales well. And so it's not a matter of you just pick up one book and all of a sudden you're good. You have to continuously learn and you have to continuously polish up that skill set and get better and better and better, just like music production. The first beat you make isn't going to be the best beat you've ever made. It's the same with every other skill set when it comes to business. And so I feel like that's highly underestimated is because people think, I'm already sending DMs. It's like, well, are you doing them well? I'm already closing people on calls, but could you be closing more? So the best way is to surround yourself with people who are doing things on the level that you want to. And so that humbles you a lot. I know that if I go into coaching programs thinking that I know everything, I'm going to have the hardest time learning because I'm going to be resisting saying I already know this stuff. If you come with an empty plate, then you are just all you're doing absorbing, and that's the way that you learn best. So don't underestimate how well you need to learn these skill sets. It's not just a matter of you learned it and you're done. It's a matter of getting better and better at it. Another thing that really helps having guidance with is fixing mistakes before they become habits. Now, if you didn't have the guidance and you were just working on a project, you would continuously do it, even if it's work going in the wrong direction. Let's say this is you, and you need to get here, but you're working on something that brings you all the way over here. You don't know that you're going all the way over here unless someone tells you, right? So you need someone external to be like, hey, you're going the wrong way. Because if you continuously go the wrong way, you're going to get further and further from your destination, and then it's going to be too late to turn around. Think about smoking, think about drinking, think about doing drugs, right? These are all mistakes. Now, if you did coke once, or you drank once, or you smoked one cigarette, someone would be like, hey, you shouldn't do that, you're gonna die. Now, it would be easier to break someone's habit at that point than if to try to say that same sentence to them, hey, that's gonna kill you, after 5 years of them doing it already. Because at this point, it's become a habit. It's become a part of their life now. And so that's the same with anything else. Any mistake, anything positive, anything negative, it can become a habit. But you want to make sure the negative things, the mistakes, are nipped in the bud before it becomes a habit, because when it becomes a habit, it's going to be even harder to break. And I know this because I've gone into different coaching programs where I spent like $10,000, but I came in with the mindset of like, I already do things this way, so why would I do it this way? Well, this way probably works better, but I'm having a hard time understanding that I shouldn't be doing this thing that I've been doing for so long. And I know this has held me back personally a lot with my growth, even till today. Right? It's hard to break things when they become habits. And so it's better to get that guidance to have someone fix that before it becomes a habit, because the sooner you can fix that, the better. So these are just 5 things that I've found that has helped me with getting mentorship that YouTube cannot provide me. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this was insightful. I know this video is not going to fix everything. I don't think any video on this platform is going to fix everything. There's just more to it. There's more hand-holding, there's more guidance, there's more things necessary in order for you to create that business that you want. And so if you want to learn more about building a business, I'm going to leave a training down below. It talks about how to produce beats that attract artists and then turn them into high-ticket clients. Now, that video is also not going to solve all your problems. So if you need help, you need guidance, I would love to talk to you. If you sign up for that training, after you watch it, there's a chance for you to book a call with me and we can talk and see if we're a good fit to help you grow your business. There's no guarantees, there's no promises. In fact, I will even tell you if we're not a good fit to work together and that this doesn't make any sense for you. But if you want to find out if we are a good fit and maybe I could potentially help you grow your business, you can watch that training. Feel free to book a call with me. For everybody else, if you found this helpful, please share it with a friend. Please hit subscribe if you want to learn more about this, and I will see you in the next video.